After Chatzos,
Just where I can see. Come out and say.
Okay, that's much better. All right. So we start from the beginning. Likutei Halachos, hilchos halacha. We are in towards the end of Seif Lamed, and we said like this, that there is this whole issue of maksha leila, this b'chinas Amalek, because the beginning of the creation of the world starts with chalapanim, with constriction. And we said that the reason why constriction is the first thing that it's the first step to creation is because tzimtzum and constriction is the way that you give somebody else space to express himself.
Disconnect.
Yeah, but the point is that if you're in your house and you're the one calling the shots, it has to be dafka your way. Means there's no tzimtzum. You're taking up all the space. So you're not giving anybody any room to express themselves and to grow. The beginning of chesed, actually, which is sustainable, which is tenable, starts with tzimtzum.
The end of chesed.
No, the beginning of chesed, the thing that enables chesed. It starts with, a chesed, which an expression of chesed. It's only when you can give somebody a place to express themselves and to be who they are. First of all, it's the greatest act of chesed there is, and you're doing it afka by pulling back. It's like a father that wants to teach his son to walk. So he lets go of the kid. And he goes, and the kid goes, and usually falls down. And the child is crying, and his father is laughing. It's like the biggest cruelty there is. The son just said, yeah. But he took 2 steps. Next time he'll take 3 steps. So the father is actually committing an act of chesed by holding himself back. Which is gvura, which is tzimtzum. So the first act of B'rias Ha'olam is chalapanim, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu holds himself back. And this is done with gvuras. This is done with, so this is it's the ultimate gvuras. This is the shorsh where Amalek comes from. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing that
the spherot kind of meet each other. The chesed going into the gvura and the chesed.
Ultimately, it's all one. But ultimately, the gvuras exist in order for the chesed to be expressed. This is the Ramer Kovalatov. The bad is the chariot for the good. Ultimately, Kadosh Baruch Hu, as we said, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to shech the Yetzer Hara, which means he's going to turn it, he's going to rectify it, and he's going to make it into a Malach Kadosh. So we said, this is the union of Amalek, which wants to hold off birth. And the way that you open it is V'yishasef Shmuel es Agag, that Shmuel cut open Agag. Rashi says they cut him into 4. This is B'chinas Dalet. The womb has 2 daleds. B'chinas Mem, the Dalte Bitni, the doors of my stomach. And so the Bechoya of that's the reason why Esav had to be the first one, the first Bechor. Yaakov Avinu took the Bechorah away from Esav because in Achinami, the first Bria is is halapanai. But there's something beyond halapanai. There's a Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. You can't find a Kadosh Baruch Hu in the halapanai. What you have to do is you have to skip halapanai. You have to jump over. So this is Jews that they skip over with the emunah. They skip over the halapanai, skip all the kashas, all the chochmas, all the proofs.
And that's
This way, that way.
the connection with the mother?
They jump over a mark. With this, you take the bechora away from a mark.
Kashas.
You take, the kashas come from a molecule. The kashas come from halapanai. Doubts, what? Yes. That's what they call it ivrim. And with this, they acquire the status of bechora, of firstborn. Because the natural firstborn stems from halapanai. The principal firstborn of Kadosh Baruch Hu, the one that's connected to Hashem, not to halapanai. This is bnei bechor Yisrael. So it says like this: "V'zeu b'chinas makas b'choros." This is makas b'choros. So b'shas yitzias Mitzrayim, in the time that Yidden came out of Mitzrayim, as nizkadshu b'chor Yisrael. This is when the Bechorim of Am Yisrael were sanctified. That's the essence of Yitzias Mitzrayim. All the exiles that are all included in Golos Mitzrayim. They are drawn from the filth of Amalek. That's the main filth of the snake. Shulreishis goyim Amalek. That's the first of goyim is Amalek. That from Amalek, all the Dalet Malchis they receive from him. Shem kol hagolios, this is all the golios. כמו שכתב רבינו ז"ל בתורה המשך לסכינוס ומלמד, as Rabbeinu says in the Torah, a garden of knives. וסימן למד. וגם סורו של מצרים או Edom, who is the actual minister, the supernal minister of Mitzrayim, of Mitzrayim is Edom. This is Esau. And this whole thing that Paro's heart was heavy, and he wouldn't let Am Yisrael get out of Mitzrayim. שלא רצה להניח את ישראל לצאת נמשך מבחינת האפיקורסות והכפירס שנדבק בו, הנמשך מחלל הפנים. That heaviness of the heart of Paro, it all comes from the Metzias of Chal HaPanim. If you recall, in Torah Samech Dalet, the Rebbe says the Inaf Chal HaPanim, that there is a parallel existence to. Can you give me a tissue from them? There's a parallel existence to the Inyan of Chal HaPanim. And it says that when Hashem first of all has vacated the Chal HaPanim inside his Metzias, and into that Metzias Hashem put in his light, which is the light of the Kav, and there all the oilmas, all the universes were created inside the Chal HaPanim.
It's a Kav. Line.
The line. And the Rebbe says that parallel to the Chal HaPanim is the heart of the Jew. That in the heart of a Jew, the excitement and the enthusiasm of a Jew to Kadosh Baruch Hu is infinite. And because of that, it is impossible to do any avodas Hashem b'chlal. I'm like, you can't do anything. You can daven, you can learn, you can screaming and shouting and going all wild. You have to rein it in. you have to rein in the enthusiasm. It has to be, you know, it has to be, okay, hold it with that. That's right. Has to be in proper measure. So that's even of the tzimtzum. Hold back, hold your horses. And within that vacancy, then you build up the midos. You build up which is parallel to the mitzias of the oilams, of the universes. Like Kodesh Baruch Hu has created, made a vacancy, and in it, Kodesh Baruch Hu held back his omnipresence, which is parallel to a person holding back his enthusiasm and his yearning to Hashem. This creates a chal upon it, and in it, the same way Kodesh Baruch Hu puts the light of the light, and in it created elements.
We're trying to gain enthusiasm. We have to hold our enthusiasm back. That's all it.
It says the Rebbe says that the light, the heart of a Jew is naturally burning to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So what is it?
So it says, and then you have to build the midos one by one. And it says, and a person has to be very careful not to verstup the chol hapanoi with ostentatious thoughts.
So
Because this fills up the chol hapanoi and makes it impossible for the oilamos to be, to actually come out inside the chol hapanoi. So he says that the main kashas of paroi, since paroi, he says the sar of paroi is who? Is Edom, which is Pchinas Amalek. That stems to Pchinas Chal Hapanoi. So he says that heaviness of the heart of paroi that enabled him to disregard what the Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted is something that comes forth from the ear of Chal Hapanoi.
When we say that Amalek is like the china of Chal Hapanoi, that means that there's an emptiness to it, meaning they don't have the light. What they're connecting to is just emptiness. Is that right?
They connect to the essence of constriction. Moshe Rabeinu boil Paro ken nichvalti es libo. He come to Paro because for I have made his heart heavy. She Paro pinas chal hapanoi. Paro is essentially an embodiment of the chal hapanoi, vacant space. She misham nimshach velus libo. This is where the heaviness of his heart comes from. Pinas vayiki iksha Paro shalkeinu. Paro made it difficult to send us away. Iksha is he uses here a grammatical derivative of koshi, of difficult, of hardness, used as makshaleled, a woman that has difficulty in labor and has difficulty in giving birth, or there are complications, so to speak. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu has slayed all Bechor in Eretz Mitzrayim in order to put down and defeat the firstborn essence, principle of the Sitra Achra that comes from the Bechor of Esau. We said the first thing is called Apollo, that's right, it's just going Molech, it comes from there, this is Esau. It's Bechor of Esau. With killing of the firstborn of the Egyptians, Kodesh Baruch Hu has broken down the Kfiros. So as long as the Inyan of Bechor Mitzrayim, exists, that means that Avodah Zorah exists. the essence of Avodah Zorah is running a day. So the time of Mitzrayim is a time when we went out of Mitzrayim. It's a time when HaKadosh Baruch Hu has revealed himself in the world. It's a time we're going to be Mekabel the Torah. So that's why the first thing that has to be broken down is this in of halacha, this in of the apikorsis and the doubts that comes with halacha, because now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give certitude, right? He's going to give emunah. People are going to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu eye to eye. First, in order for this to happen, for the principle, which is really beyond halacha, which is Hashem, you have to skip over the halacha to believe in it. He's going to reveal himself in the world. First thing needs to be put down and defeated is the inyan of Bechora Amalek, right? Is the inyan of the Bechora of Esau, which stems from the Chateva, because that's the first thing naturally that had to happen for the natural world to exist. It's Chalapanai. That's the essence of Amalek. So that has to be broken down. What you have to bring up that Israel, the Bechor of Israel, the aspect of the firstborn of Israel, which is Pchinas Emunah. So, it says, Sumera Vasetov, you have to step away from bad, then you can do good. So the stepping away from bad is the annihilation of the firstborn of Mitzrayim, which is all the concepts, annihilating the concepts of kfira, of Avodah Zorah, of doubts. That's the thing that needs to be put down. Then you can take on Israel. In order to elevate the firstborn right of Israel. That they receive from the Bechor of Yaakov Avinu. That they through his emunah, to skip Chalapanai completely, to overcome all the chakiras and all the kashas that come from there, and to connect himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shul Rishon, Lakol, Misham, and Bechor Kedusha. Because Yaakov Avinu, glues himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kiviyachon. And from there comes the Bechor of Israel. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world for Am Yisrael. So naturally you can say that the first one was Esau, was Amalek, was Chalapanai. Because physically, naturally, that's the first thing that actually came about. But conceptually, the whole thing was done. The whole Bria was created in order to for Kedushas Yisrael, B'shil Yisrael Shenekrim Reishis, right? Reishis Yisrael, Rashi says, for the Torah and for Israel, right? They're both called Reishis. So the reason behind, physically, the first thing that happened was Esau, was Chalapanai, was Amalek. Reishis going Amalek. But conceptually, the whole reason for the whole thing was for Kedushas Yisrael. The only way that you can connect yourself to that Kedusha is through Emunah. You jump over all the sciences, all the theories, all the proofs, everything else, you just jump it over, and you believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, flat out.
That Emunah seems to have to go through pain, suffering. That's what the Jewish people, the Jewish people.
That stems from the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create. All these Shiurim, of course, come from Pchinas Amalek, but we're talking about this Indian that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the world with Midis Adin, so that we will all have everything B'din. That we should be Zochet to everything. The whole idea of creating of the world was, that we should keep, so to speak. So it said the fact that so the Kodesh Baruch Hu had to break down Bechorah Mitzrayim in order to elevate Bechorah Israel, which is an emanation from the Bechorah of Yaakov Avinu, and that has disregarded all the kashas and all the and with his emunah, standing over and went and actually was medabek himself to Amalek. I have to apologize to everybody who's watching this. It's Tisha B'Av, and my mind is like, we will finish with this here, but what I wanted to tell you regarding the Likutei Halachos Aleph was to tell you a ma'aseh that the Rosh Yeshiva Sitz Chaim, Rebbe Zalman Meltzer, a big tzaddik, lived in Yerushalayim, and the tachlis of the when he used to be a great tzaddik and a very, very nice personal person, and they used to bring all the kids from the Chadar in Yerushalayim to be fahet, to be tested by him to his house, Shishiva, and because it was fabulous, because any kid that came to be fahet by Rebbe Nosson got such chizuk, because his thing was not whether the kid knows or doesn't know. That wasn't his inyan. His inyan, the kid will come out of it being convinced that he knows a lot and he can know a lot, and so that was his thing. So one day they came over there and they said they hear a cry from the kitchen. What happened? The milk boiled over. So Rebbe Zalman Meltzer says, just a minute, excuse me, and he goes to the kitchen and he speaks to the Rebbe, and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I don't know what's going on. It's like 20 minutes, whatever. So then Rav Meltzer comes to the room and tells the Talmidim and the Rebbe to please, stay here. I have to go out with the Rebbe to take care of something. I'll be back. And so they went away, and it was like 20 minutes later they come back. And they sit down. Everybody's wondering, what happened here. So he says, okay, good. It's Mishalayim that you're here, so I can tell you the story of what happened just now. He says, I heard that the milk boiled over in my kitchen. Milk should boil over in my kitchen. My kitchen, everybody, by me, everything is misudar. Everything is misudar. Everything is. Why should it boil over my kitchen? So I spoke to the rabbis, and she said, so we tried to think, why did this happen? So he says, maybe, he was Rav Brisk, the Brisk was the one who was mamlutzim to be, which is a Brisk, maybe you took over the pot over a fleshik pot, and, he says, no, chas v'chalil bas, everything is separate, everything is okay. He says, okay, the milk in Yerushalayim was delivered by milkmen. And they would be paid once a week. They would be paid. Says maybe he didn't pay the milkman. Your mail-in is chas v'chalila, already prepaid. Everything is okay. So Rav Meltzer says, wait. Today is Rosh Chodesh. Right. So he said, the old milkman. What happened was there was no social security in those days. So, a Yid worked as long as he could work, and then once he finished working, that's it, there's nothing more to eat. So the old milkman, he couldn't deliver the milk anymore. So what he did was he made a list of all his customers, all the previous customers, all the years, Baruch Hashem, he delivered the milk, he served them, and everything was fine. So he divided them into groups. And every day he would go to somebody else's house, of his old customers, and he would beg for a few pennies. And they would give them a few pennies so you can live. So, and Rav Meltzer, either because he was Choshev or because his first name was Issa, his day was on Rosh Chodesh. The old milkman would come to ask money from him on Rosh Chodesh. So he asked the Rebbe, did he come here today? The Rebbe says, I don't know, I had to go somewhere else. So he said, I was Chodesh, I was in yeshiva, whatever, you weren't here. Maybe he came here, and he went up 2 stories, for nothing. So we have to go to his house, and we have to give him, either we have to ask for mechila. We weren't at home for him. So he said to the boys, whatever it is, excuse me, I'm leaving. And he took the Rebbetzin and he went over to the house. They asked him, did you come? He says, yeah, he came. He went up, he knocked on the door, and nobody opened the door. So when he figured, come the next day. So these 2 tzaddikim, they ask him, if he can please forgive us and be moichel us, and here we will give you the money and give you more, just to be moichel us. He says, there's nothing to be moichel, I don't know what you're talking about. I would have come tomorrow. He says, Yeah, but we were matriach you and you came for nothing and you went up 2 floors and come down the whole. Bekitzer, it's an inyan that a yid gets mistakel b'sechel shel b'chol davar. Because by tzaddikim, if the milk spills over, there's a reason for that. It has to do with milk, it has to do with contact with milk, whatever it is. So they look, can it be cautious? No. Can it be, did you pay the milkman on time? Yes, she did. So the only thing you can do, okay, fine, but this is what it is. Those pshat, this is what it means to listakel b'sechel b'chol davar. So we are holding in a place where every once in a while we can see something. And then you're makasha that eventually you can come to such a madrega, you can makasha yourself to the sechel, hamitzvah b'chol davar, and it leads you to Kodesh Baruch.